Dummy Switch Pod. The boys are
Yes,
back.
sir. Yes, sir.
How are you, Chris?
Quarters, I'm good. I'm good. Excited for the weekend. Championship rounds coming up. Championship rounds. So yeah, I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good myself, good myself. The Dan Carters of podcasting here to give you our
Uh-huh.
opinions, our flagrant
Yeah,
takes, and
yeah,
of course, feel free to share yours. Let us know if we're right, if we're
yeah.
wrong.
Interact. That's
Interact.
what it is. Opinions, eh? It's
Yeah, that's
opinions.
that's that's all it is. That's all it is.
Yes.
Yeah, like you said, it's do or die. It's now or never.
Yeah.
It's that time. 2 weeks left. You've got the Lions on tour in Ireland, Leinster and then against Munster.
Mm.
You've got Bulls going back home to Fortress Loftus versus Italian opposition.
Yeah.
And you had a break before that. It's kind of an ideal scenario of a run in. You've got Stormers who the plane, there was some turbulence. Now it seems that they're
Yeah.
steady a bit, and
The storm is over. Yeah.
yeah, for now at
For
least.
now.
And they're on tour. They're gonna play Ulster, and I think it's Cardiff after that, and then you've got the Sharks back at home, also a rest,
Just
but not.
vibes, Oaks. Just
Yeah,
vibes, Oaks.
and I think we saw some of that in the team selection, uh, which is, I think, kind of the news of the day is that Zekhethelo Siyaya
Hey,
Siyaya selected at 10 for the Sharks. I've been on record with how poor I've been saying John Smith has been for the Sharks, coupled with the fact that JP Pietersen doesn't see
yeah,
Masuku at all.
Masu.
I
I,
think that just culminated in Siyaya, who is, we've seen most of his rugby at 15. Now
yeah,
he moves into the 10 position, probably one of the easier moves in terms of rugby overall, moving from 15 to 10. Um, and I mean, he is, you've seen him at first receiver at high school level, kind of.
yeah,
And he's always coming into the line and
yeah,
things of that sort. And then you've got Yaku Williams, who now moves to 15.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think let's just go through the team sheet before, we discuss that. You've got Ox there, Edwin Swart, I'm part of the fan club. You've got Koch,
Yeah, yeah.
Jenkins, Van Heerden,
Uh,
Kolisi, Vincent Chituka, Manu Chituka, Bradley Davids gets a start. You've got Siyaya at 10, Mapimps, Esther Hazen, Lorenzo Julius is also back in the mix after being
mm,
injured on tour.
big one.
Edward van der Merwe, Yaku Williams, Fez, Guyani, Henry Jacobs, Ral, Nick Hutton, Ross Brody, Sean Smith, and then you've got Bester, who's also back in the picture, which is, I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
Only thing I'll say about this team is that I would have liked to see on tour. On tour they were starting with Jacobs and Ganyani, which I thought it would have been better to start with Ox and Koch. But
Mm,
it seems like that's, and they've reversed it for these two home fixtures. Yeah, the
yeah.
Seattle selection, how do you feel about it?
I'm excited for it. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I believe a player like that, one, yes, John Smith has left much to be desired, in the Sharks jersey, and Sia is young. He's how can I say? You can see he wants to get his hands on the ball. He wants to be influential, and I think a player like that also, from a coaching perspective, you've got nothing to lose. Get him with hands on the ball more,
Yeah.
because he can make those passes. He can put guys away. He's got a boot. He can control the game from the back. Let's see him a bit closer. Hey, if it doesn't work out, at least we know. You know what I mean?
That's also the thing where what if it does work out and then now he's
Yeah.
the solution to the Sharks problem at 10? And we all just waiting for him to come in at 15, and then he comes in at 10 and does a job. So the upside of this is extraordinary. The
Mm.
downside of it is really minimal in terms of
Yeah.
the
No
season's
risk.
kind of over
No
and you're
risk.
just giving him a run. So I guess it's a they've hedged their bets in a way.
Yeah.
And I think also with him, because of his reputation from schoolboy level, everybody wants him to do well. So there isn't
Yes.
going to there's some figures that
Yeah.
they come in and
Yeah.
they play, and then there's certain sections of
Yeah.
fan bases and you know
Yes.
that want to see players not do well. But I think with
Yeah. Yeah.
him, the overwhelming consensus with him is that everybody wants him to do well. And I think even if
Of
he
course.
doesn't do well, it's
Ah,
still people are still gonna be
no.
like, no, let the
Let
boy
the
play.
let the boy play, man. Let the boy play. He's still
Yeah.
growing. You know what I mean? He's still
Mm.
growing. So I fully agree with you there, Kodas. And I think even with the other selections of the guys that are around there, even in that back line, you're seeing a bit of, a future. You're seeing the future of the Sharks. Really,
Yeah.
most of these guys. I'm excited to see Bester back. I
Mm.
really, having seen him against the Lions, unfortunately in a Curry Cup fixture, around Robin where it didn't go well results wise, but I loved his play.
Yeah.
His presence, physical presence, big, the running lines, strong, and yeah, it's good to see him back. But look, at the end of the day, Sharks just gotta go out, play, enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
Try give the fans, put smiles on the faces, for the last 2 weeks, and then preseason go back drawing board and let's fix some things, and Curry Cup will be a good start as
Yeah.
well for them. I know we don't want to talk about Curry Cup right now, but just on the Sharks because that's what's really the next thing for them. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this fixture unfolds. I think it'll be an exciting one.
Yeah, I think just looking at some names like Bradley Davids, he's got a chance to show
The chance, yeah.
again who he is, especially with Hendrikse being out and people saying no, they need to get in Pede, and you've got other guys coming in once the season is over, so you've got a chance for him to reintroduce himself, and Ross Brody as well, who he played, but like he's kind of he has
Yeah,
good performances, but I guess he's dipped a bit. So it's a chance for those guys to reintroduce themselves. The same for Lorenzo Julius, who's
yeah.
in and out with injury. I'd like to see Esterhazen maybe go to flank and then get Bester and Julius together in the centers there at some
Ooh,
stage.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, hopefully, my hopes for this is that they can stay injury free. This team, Siyaya maybe possibly take the scrum cap off, get a fade, possibly take up the fly half persona. The fly half persona is, maybe
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
yeah, like you said, the playoff time, the holidays are booked. I'm sure we'll see
Yeah,
a few guys getting engaged. Even when the players there's no fixtures, they all get engaged or
yeah,
get married or whatever. So I'm sure we'll be seeing that. I
yeah.
think next, I think let's move on to Stormers team sheet. Playing tomorrow night, and yeah, Ruan Nel out, but I think they've said it's not like too serious of an injury, so it's more precautionary going into those last 2 weeks. Mkhunu, Fenta, Sandy, Archie Smith, Ruben van Heerden. We've got Branas there, Dixon, Ruiz, Imad Khan is playing. Thank goodness. We've
Um,
got Sasha there at 10, Zas, Willemse at 12, Dan Duplessis 13, Similani 14, and Gelant at 15 there on the bench. Paul de Villiers at hooker, which is,
hey,
I mean, we've seen him throw lineouts
hey.
and we've seen that he's in the Dion Ferry mold.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens if he gets some good game time there. Oli Kebble, Porthen, Evans, Daimani, Morabe's back, and then you've got
Yeah.
Angara and Mattia. Mattia, very good insurance policy there on the bench, especially
He is.
away from home.
Yeah, yeah,
Friday night
yeah,
lights, if
yeah.
if needs be, he can take over, maybe move
Yes.
Sasha to 15 or in the center somewhere.
Mm. Yeah, look, outside of Ronald being out, I think this is a solid enough team to try and go and get, well, to go and get a result,
Yeah,
over there. And it's good to see, Imad Khan coming in. This is all about whether they can maintain their control, that they've started to show, going back to what works for them. And
Mm.
uh, being away from home, minimizing the mistakes, And in saying that, I know there's going to be a spotlight on a certain number 15, uh, you know, of which, there's not dustbin for a brother, but, he also, you must realize it's game time, it's
Yeah.
crunch time, and, it can't be making silly mistakes, especially if they want to go deep, and achieve something in this tournament. But again, it's away from home, but it's summertime starting that side, most. Huh?
Yeah, I don't know up north how the weather is here, but I know particularly this side Lions should be decent weather. Not too sure about
Mm,
up north.
okay.
Yeah, it should
Yeah,
be a decent one. It
they're
should be a
gonna have
de
to. They're gonna work hard for it, definitely.
yeah.
This is and Keke Murabe. I think I watched a bit of the Stormers 23 against the Sharks on
Mm,
YouTube over the weekend. So, and I thought, again, Lions, I mean, and I thought he had a good outing, although the Lions, took that one. But yeah, I think it's good to see him in there. And this is that type of game where he's gonna, that physical presence, him working
yeah.
as coming in there at 8. So, yeah, but I think Stormers,
Yeah, Imad Khan, let's get it rolling. Hopefully, I'm not too sure about Reinach's injury. If he can make a push there to maybe be starting in the
yeah,
playoffs. I think Stormers, it's one of those things where because they've got depth and because they've got a number of players that can play different positions, you put out a team sheet like this and it's just Stormer supporters saying, no, but this guy should have moved here, or this guy should have moved
mm,
here, or this guy should have moved. You're going to get those comments, particularly in and around the centers, at fullback, maybe some
yeah,
even at 10. There's it's not much of players like this guy shouldn't be playing. It's just more of a reshuffle that supporters are
yeah.
always calling for. But I suppose we're always going to have our favorites in our positions.
Yeah, no, for sure, but I think there's that
And sorry,
just
it's
again,
also led to Willems are playing on the wing in some
yeah,
respects.
and that's the versatility of especially the back line that the Stormers have got. A number of those players can play in multiple positions. So
Yeah.
I think if they can just be settled and have that stability, of which I think Damien Willems is going to be key to that.
Mm.
At 12, I think he'll bring that with all that experience as well. So yeah. Good team, man. Regardless of different opinions on who should be where, but I still think good
Yeah.
team that can definitely get the result.
Yeah. Other news, I think let's go Bulls. Only real thing out of their camp is that Serfontaine, Jan Serfontaine, who
Yeah,
they just signed, has now called it the end on his career, and it's kind of. I mean, with him, he was a player that came up, and you expected more Bob caps. Unfortunately, he didn't get those. I
yeah,
think it was also a transition period within SA Rugby, and it kind of leaves the Bulls a bit bare in the center position where you've got Creel leaving also, and he's now retired. Harry
mm,
Foster, I know there's people that I'll talk about his age, but for me, he's playing some of the best rugby in his career right now. So I'm guessing they'll look to send out a few LinkedIn posts there for new recruitment to see who's available and who's about, especially in the center area.
mm,
Bulls, I mean, for me, there's no team sheet out now, but they can rotate in these 2 weeks being at home and with the depth in their squad. The forward pack is always going to be strong, and Pollard is,
mm.
is is playing some good rugby now. So I think we'll see some rotations, some guys getting some good rest, and a real good push. Final 2 weeks, and I think it's from what was weeks back seen as a catastrophe. Guys wanting Akers out, him wanting some of his own coaches out, and to where they've landed now with 2 games to go. I think it's been a net
Yeah,
positive for them.
definitely with everything to play for. Um, and all the incentive to stay in the top eight. I mean, here at home
Yeah.
as well, so no excuses really at this time of the season, especially with the guys that they've got in there that can deliver, So it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see who plays. But again, I think we said it before. I think being at home is at Loftus, and the weather is the way that it is,
Mm.
in Gauteng where the bones will be cold, man, and those guys are, you know, bones will be cold, and they're
Yeah.
gonna feel some heavy stuff, some heavy stuff, and yeah, I think Bulls will be bringing it definitely.
Hey, that first contact in cold weather. That first contact in cold weather.
Hey,
Man,
hey,
just
hey,
hey, hey, hey,
hey,
hey, hey.
you just want to get it in. You want to get
It
that
hurts
wall,
even
so
more.
that mm, imagine when you're a winger and you don't get in there. Hey.
Mm. Yeah, I think Lions playing Leinster. I think we can just go off the touring squad where Tlabakanye, he is on tour and kind of everybody else is. There isn't really anyone left behind, I don't think, in terms of injury. It's a wealth of forwards to choose from there. In the back line, kind of the same. So I wouldn't be expecting too many changes from the home fixtures that were.
Yeah, I think that's for them. I mean, you 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 tweeted or retweeted, that they know how they want to play. They know what they're
Mm.
about. They know what they want to do. So I think that just speaks to continuity. Now's not the time to try and change things. Of course, when needed, when necessary, there'll be those that will come in. But I agree with you there, Quarters. It should be continuity in terms of selection from what we saw in the home fixtures. Maybe one or two little different little
Yeah,
changes,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
for the most part, it will be the guys that played. Especially the spine of the team.
I think Pete might get a look in the next two fixtures because just for the fact that he kind of had two fixtures, then
Mm.
they rotated and they put Niku Stain, and then now you're looking at the end two fixtures. It seems like that's what they're doing with them. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see him potentially on the
I,
bench.
I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him potentially on the bench, especially against Leinster.
Yeah,
Um, Especially against Leinster, to see how he can also, because I mean Leinster will come with a strong defensive
yeah,
system. We know that. It'll be interesting to see how he can operate in that sort of
yeah.
environment.
But having said that, like I watched them in European Cup against Toulon, and if you can beat that press and that system, there is space out wide. And we saw how close Toulon, it was basically a pass away from them
Yeah.
winning. So I mean that's the kind of style that the Lions will be looking to play. My biggest concern is that South African teams that have gone to the Viva there, what lands up happening is one of two things. The weather can get in the way, the ref can get in the way, and then what lands up
Yeah.
happening is a lot of the time you hang around for about 20 minutes, then something happens. I think to Stormers game there where like they were in it and then Lubbock went down. And then that was the game.
Yeah.
The Lions the same thing where you'll be in it and then there's just something that changes the momentum and they can't that pressure cycle is so big that they can't dig themselves out of that hole. It's you're away from home,
Mhm.
there is going to be that
Yeah.
pressure. You're going to have to deal with that pressure cycle, but
Yeah.
the biggest thing is absorbing that pressure and then making your own pressure cycle and getting on the front foot and not getting dug too deep in a hole where you can't get out because that's where Leinster thrive and that's where
Yeah.
you'll see Gibson Park getting in behind and then it's just
Yeah. And just like playing the fiddle there.
yeah. Yeah, not really much more in terms of news. I think it's just it's going to be an interesting 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
I think beyond that 2 weeks is the playoffs. I
Mm.
think if our teams can get good position, it's good for the league, it's good for the product, and
Yeah.
besides that, it's good for the box because box about just about it's June then July beginning
Yeah.
first game 4th of July against England, so it's kind of as much as you're fighting for URC, it's kind of like glass hands out for who wants to be included in the box.
Mm. Pretty much, and I think they are going to cast the net a bit wider, giving some more new guys, an opportunity in there. So there's a lot to play for all
Yeah,
around. When you look at it, as much as yes, for some the season maybe done, but there's really a lot to play for a lot of these guys because it's a packed, I think, window now going what
yeah.
July, going into August as well with the rivalry tour. So yeah, there may be some small jobs, not
Yeah,
a lot of jobs, but small jobs.
and I agree with that, especially because the focus is going to be so much on that tour that the introduction of this new Nations Championship,
Mm.
do you really want to go with your main guys for England,
No.
Scotland, and Wales? Especially when this is kind of like the build up to the end of the year, where
Mm.
in the middle of the year is kind of where you want to put your Kolisis and your Etzebeths and the likes of. So I think those will be kind of experimental games, half-halves, opportunities
Yeah.
for guys to get involved. And I think we're strong enough to the point where, not to sound arrogant, but you've with guys that are kind of second stringers or kind of on the fringes, you can get good results versus England, Scotland, and definitely Wales. Wales, they can
Yeah.
send us even.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. And I'm looking for Luke Morgan when I get there. You know what I mean? That's who I'm looking for. That's who I'm looking for. I haven't forgotten. But yeah, yeah, look, I think that's what it's going to be, quarters, but it's exciting. We're getting closer, So
Yeah.
yeah, it's cold this side, but the rugby is heating up, quarters. It's heating up now.
Yeah. Any closing remarks from you?
Look, I'm excited to see the young man,
Yeah.
Siyaya. I'm excited to see him go, home game as well. Yeah, time to shine, young man. Get your hands on the ball, do your thing. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think that's the highlight. It's the main story. It's the front page is
Mm.
is
Yeah,
is his debut at 10. Yeah, and then for in terms of me, Leinster versus the Lions, we
no, no, the Lions, they did
it's
the thing. They did the thing.
it's
They
time.
went to see
Hey,
the Pirates
yeah,
guy. They went to see the Pirates guy.
yeah. They told the team manager, "I'm giving you this bag. Don't open it until you get there, and go to those poles and put this bag."
Oh shit, man.
Hey, we're just hoping all the stars align. I think it was even Cash Van Royen's birthday.
Yeah.
There's many things that the
Yeah,
stars
look,
must
the
align,
Lions have a
things must
chance, quarters.
converge.
The
Yeah.
Lions, it's a chance, man. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's I mean, especially being ahead of Leinster now on the log as it is, it's Stormers, Glasgow. I mean, same points, but ahead of them, and then you've got Leinster, Munster, and then you're playing those two sides in the
Yeah.
coming weeks. So what's on offer,
Stand
we
up.
we must take it.
Stand up. Mm. Stand up.
Yeah, I think that's it from us, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.